Wake up, buyer payer people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhoads on the Buy Here Pay Here Morning Show. Take it away, you two.
Morning, everybody.
Hello.
Hello from our last day here in San Diego.
Yeah.
It was a lovely visit. We got to go
it's
to
been a
a
great
Major
stay.
League Baseball game last night. It's
So cool.
been decades since I've done a Major
We
League ball
apparently
game.
jinxed the Padres because they came up
Yeah.
short against the Diamondbacks, but it was so fun
It
to be there.
was.
So it was the
Yeah.
atmosphere, and I got to say the climate here is outstanding. My first visit to here, wow.
Yeah, Jim's first time, and I was telling him before we got out here that the weather is very level. And so this morning when we're having coffee, he pulls out his cell phone and he's like, "What does the weather in San Diego look like year round?" And he just, whoa.
It's like it's
and
always
turned it-
70.
Yeah, it's almost
No.
always 70 during the day.
Yeah.
And so he says, "Okay, so when are we moving?"
Yeah.
Well,
It was
we're
a
in
joke.
Utah for a while.
It was a
so
joke. But
yeah.
I do, the climate here,
It's
for
been
those who
beautiful.
haven't been here, you
Yeah.
can check the temperatures. It's not
Yeah.
a big change throughout the year.
It's
It's
lovely.
incredible.
Lovely. And we are going to be back in October for the LHPH Summit.
Mhm.
And so we're looking forward to that, and kind of we're getting some ideas about where to go and what to do and all of that. So shout out if all of y'all who are listening, and let us know where you're listening from. And
Mhm.
yeah. So what do we have announcement wise? Or anything?
Well, we don't have anything slated for next week, so I would put a mention out there for folks who have somebody they'd like to see on the show as a guest. Please just send us a note and let us know if there's somebody you would recommend that we interview.
Especially someone that you know that that emulates. Is that the right word?
Yeah, we can use
that shows White Hat Way characteristics in their dealership and as a dealer, because it just like our show we just had with Candace Price from Nebraska was phenomenal.
If you missed that
fantastic.
on Wednesday, find that episode and check that out with her. She's a rock star. She's so good and just really truly has a heart for her customers and her community.
Yeah, I mean the stuff that she's doing in the communities. She was even telling us, I don't know if it was said on the air, but they were doing scholarships before they paid themselves salary for high school students, just because they felt it was that important to be actively involved in helping the community. So that was pretty. And Nebraska it's like 1 million people in Omaha where she's at. So it's a metroplex kind of area. It's the only one I think in Nebraska. So today though.
Today we've got our dealer friend and everybody's friend, Jack Carter.
Like having Jack.
Yeah, for sure.
I was that I kind of keep a close eye on all of the Facebook, social media streams and the conversations that are happening in some of the Strictly Buy Here, Pay Here, or the automotive pages and groups, and ran across something that it was like a couple days after we'd had Jack on the show before, and then we'll have Jack tell the story, but I saw this video that he did, which was phenomenal, and posted it, and it was call to action. And so I reached out to him and said, "Hey, Jack, we would love to have you on the show." And
we would love to act.
So we're gonna act. So we're gonna bring Jack on in. Good morning.
Hey there.
Hey guys. Good morning.
How are you?
Wonderful. Hope y'all are.
Yeah. Before we went live, Jack said business is maybe a little slower than normal, but you're hearing that from everybody else too, huh?
Yeah, I think it just seems to be talking to the CPA and talking to friends and lenders. It seems like things have slowed down just a tick, just kind of summertime stuff. I hate it when people give an excuse about, well, it's that time of year, because we seem to, I want my guys and my team to make things happen. It doesn't matter what time of year it is, but I think it's just a little off. But it's been, we've had stellar years the last couple years. So it's kind of time, it's just time for it to get back.
No, I got you. That's, we've been obviously keeping a finger on the pulse of the industry at large. And we're hearing that, most everybody's got a real positive outlook. Like we just see lots of opportunity around the the corner for most of us. So it's all good. Yeah, you just keep slugging, right? So.
Right. I don't know how it is in other businesses, but when things like, when sales slow down for us and buy here, pay here, and I guess it's all of retail too, but sales slow down, inventory piles up, cars become cheaper. It just, you might be a little soft on one side, but then, it's like a seesaw, something else will balance it out on the other side. So I'm optimistic, man. I feel like business is great and we're in a wonderful industry and things are well overall.
I like your perspective that it's an ebb and flow. And then when something is ebbing, the other side is flowing. Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
But some would say that's like a game of whack-a-mole. So that's buy here, pay here in a nutshell, right?
Well, whatever it is, we're playing,
Yeah, that's right. Good for you.
Ding, 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 ding.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You're doing it well. So keep after it.
So I just mentioned to our audience that I was watching through Facebook and you posted a very long, heartfelt, well thought out. There were even visual aids.
Oh, you're talking about that where I was cutting grass and it was just eating me up and so I did want to make some visual aids. I've seen other people be successful with those style videos and it's just easier to follow along,
Yeah. So tell us about, what it is that happened that started this we need to do something about this. Cause obviously this is, the topic of your video is a problem that dealers have dealt with for a really long time, but something must've triggered and it just
the problem was about
done.
For the lien holder position, right? Mm-hmm. That was what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when one of our customers is out on the street driving their car and they get into an accident that's not their fault, and the at-fault party's insurance pays for the damages that their customer caused, we don't know when that accident as the dealer, we don't know when that accident happened. We don't know that the at-fault party. We don't know the at-fault party's insurance company, and they don't know about us, the lien holder. And so what I've experienced here in my dealership, and I know dealers across the nation experience it every single day, is that insurance company isn't concerned if there's a lien holder on that automobile that they're paying the damages, paying to repair the damages, and they'll just issue a check to the person that was in the accident, to the owner of the car. And more times than not, our customers, bless their heart, a lot of times they're in a spot where that money means a lot more to them than the busted headlight or the broken fender or whatever it is. And so they use that money however they see fit at the time. And if that and none of that's a problem as long as the account never defaults. But inevitably, they're driving around that busted up looking car. I'm sure they're getting flack from their friends and family, and it just gets old. I mean, y'all know these people, the car needs to be for them to pay for it. And I just feel like there's a mental thing that probably happens there with the customer. And anyway, when that loan defaults, we get back a car that has had an insurance claim paid out on the damages that we didn't, and we never received the money.
Yeah.
And I believe the breakdown is with the insurance companies where they are not required to check lien holder status in those circumstances.
Wow.
And it's, they are required to check, to deal with a lien holder when they know about the lien holder. It's as simple in the state of Georgia, we call it like we're running a gratis, I think is the term that a lot of dealers use. We just run a gratis report, see who the lien holder is. And they do that when they know to, but they don't do it when it's it's an outside payee. And my terminology is wrong here. So that's kind of why I had that visual. And it's hard to explain this, and it's hard to get anybody that hasn't had their pocket impacted to care about this, because you got to listen for more than like 3 or 4 minutes to even get the gist of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But every dealer I've ever encountered in my entire life has had this happen to him or her. And I think it's happened to me probably, I've been in business about 10 years, guys, and I think I've dealt with this. I bet you this has happened to me probably 20 times.
Yeah.
And it's not, it hasn't put me out of business. It's not, but it is an economical hit. It's a hit on our bottom line. And it would take the slightest of tweaks from a legislator to say, or for something to be wrote in somewhere that says, check lien holder status before issuing a check, and the check is to be made out to the lien holder and the person involved in the accident. So, or the registered owner, excuse me. And so it is such a very, very, very simple fix.
Yeah.
And we're not together as a dealer collective. We need to be, and that's why I kind of called out the NIDA, because they're in my eyes, the role of the NIDA is to communicate with the lawmakers. They're the ones that are supposed to translate what's going on in our business, and here's what we need from you. And we educate the lawmakers on what we need done. And we also educate them on what not to do to us, please, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's the NIDA's role. I'm pretty sure Mr. Martin agrees to educate the lawmakers. And this is just a simple tweak we need them to push forward that will save dealers, probably millions of dollars across the country. And it doesn't even affect me that much anymore because I do CPI so much. But I'm a dealer I'm selling 70, 80 cars a month. Mom and dad down the road that are selling 15 and 20 that might not participate in CPI. And I would bet that most don't participate in CPI. This really affects them.
Well, I would say it affects you too. I mean, it's like, you're able to absorb it, but it's an unnecessary hit.
Right.
It'd be different if we were having this conversation in 1985, but in 2023, with the internet being what it is, our ability to run a VIN search, I mean, that's a simple requirement to add, because it's a shame. We know what happens if a customer gets an $8,000 check in the mail. We know what's going to happen. And so I think there's a couple of things that can happen. There's other things that could be done in addition to that. But I think for today, it's like, that's a simple fix. And it's just a matter of, making it a priority and putting it on the list of things to address,
Have you had an opportunity to talk with anyone at NIDA about this? And
this used to be a hot topic for me. This used to be something that I would like. We have for the GIDA, and I'm sure other state associations, we have 2 lobbyists that are on the payroll. They're at the Georgia Capitol, every time they're in session, and probably when they're not. And they're wonderful lobbyists. I feel like they do us a good job. And I've talked to them about it, so I'm blue in the face. And I don't think I'm as ignorant as this sounds. I don't think it's hitting home. It's like, it's not, they're kind of hearing me talk, but that's why I did the illustration, is because I thought, okay, this lays it out. This is a map. This lays out what happens, because I feel like, next thing you know, I'm Charlie, I'm that character in Charlie Brown. I'm just wah, 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 wah.
You're the teacher. Yeah.
yeah, whatever. And it just kind of, they hear me, but they're not, they don't really understand the scope and how simple. And the beauty of this situation is that the insurance companies wouldn't have to pay out another penny. Nobody's asking for more money to be exchanged.
Mm-hmm.
We just want our name on the check where it belongs.
Correct.
And so that, to me, because I feel like that's the argument that you can make, is like, anybody opposed to this, listen, understand, not going to cost you $1 more.
Yeah.
It's just going to prevent a wrong from happening. And who doesn't want that? So I don't know, guys. It's not something that I've pushed for lately. I was just cutting the grass that day, and I'm like, man, this is something that I know has been going on forever and ever and ever, and it needs some attention.
Yeah. Well, good for you for speaking up.
Yeah.
I mean, we're happy to add a little amplification to the voice, and anything we can do to spread the word about that. And heck, I'll join in the cause to try to get that. It feels like it ought to go also to the insurance commission. I mean, legislators, can mandate something. I feel like the insurance commission could almost, help move it along, almost without
just
that.
internally.
But anyway, it's just regardless of I don't know how Washington works, but I think we happy.
None of us do, Jim.
You're headed there next month. So.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm going to go see what I don't know about.
Yeah. Tell them Jim and Michelle said.
Of course. That's going to have a lot of weight.
Right.
And let me ask you, because as when Jim and I were talking about this, you mentioned something about when someone scraps a car.
Oh yeah, and that's probably a different thing. I mean, it's a lien holder matter, but we see that happen, right? Where cars go to the scrapyard or to a junkyard, and somebody, the person who is holding the car, is able to sell it and walk away with a little bit of cash.
Or even someone that does a tow. for whatever reason. It's like, who owns this car? And so that you're not having to try to track it down, that they're required to.
Well, the impound people are better about it because they want to get paid, right? So the impound people are decent about eventually getting a notice.
They get that notice out after enough time has gone by where the check's fat, you know. That's something that you guys maybe I know y'all mentioned, or maybe you and I mentioned John Weirs, that is the current president of the GID. He's pretty hot on the tow topic, and he's been digging in. So maybe that's something to touch base with on him. But I just really appreciate you guys. You guys are kind of spotlighting this topic, and this is, you said, have you talked to people about this before? Well, this is by far the biggest, most broadcast conversation I've had about this with anybody. So thank you guys very much for caring enough about it. I mean, Michelle, obviously, I know the video was long, and I feel like I overmake video. My videos are always too long, but it takes a while to get I don't know. I have a hard time shortening things that are that involved,
Yeah. Well, you go through Fiverr, find a story, and have someone do one of those sketch things so that we can just blast it out to all the legislators and just say, hey, this is a problem. This is the map of the problem. Let's fix the problem.
That would be wonderful. Like some type of cartoony type illustration of any kind, just something that would capture enough attention that you would just listen. And I don't feel like, I have brought this up a lot, and some of the pushback I get is, the insurance lobbyists are huge. That the insurance companies spend a tremendous amount of money in Washington pushing around influence, and I don't blame them. That's what they do. And any change involving insurance is extremely difficult because of the power that they hold with their dollars. And that's the pushback that I've always gotten. And it just kind of stops right there. But I do wish that the NIDA would take a look at this situation, because this is what the associations are supposed to be about. This is what should be like one of the core values of the state associations and the national association is what can we do to help dealers across the country? And I feel like that's why they're there, right? That's the whole reason why they exist. And when they get things, if they're able to get things like this done, then they'll increase membership, right? And then because it's because people want to be a part of an organization I'm much more willing to give my $250 if I feel like, man, these people are going to bat for me. This affected my bottom line.
Well, and I think my perspective on NIADA currently is obviously they're got new leadership. I think you're going to see a lot of progress. We were able to see Jeff Martin and Gordy Tormolin at the event in Arizona we just attended, and we heard them speak about the
there are a couple of big topics
carrying to Washington,
like catalytic converters and turning it into a felony, and actually inscribing numbers on them so we can trace and know where this.
So I would say that is step one, Jack. Like folks need to get involved in their state association. They need to add their voice to these things so that we can have a better chance, because those associations are the right instrument to get these things done. And so I think what you've done is kind of speak up about the thing, and we're glad you did, and we're happy to help. I think we can help connect on the animation thing. I mean, that's a cool way to.
Oh man, that'd be so cool. I would love for you guys to help with this situation, and hopefully help your show and just help dealers, and that's what y'all are doing. You're just here to help dealers, and I think that's why you guys are so popular. And I would love to pass it off. I wouldn't want to just never, but I would love help. This isn't about. It's really not about me.
Yeah,
it's just about car dealers.
Yeah, it's kind of you to say the reason we're popular is because Michelle's so charming. So that's why the things.
Sure, absolutely. It's not your list, Jim.
No, it's all good. We do.
He's trying to get extra points for some reason. I don't know.
That's right. Yeah, he needs them.
No, it's right. Yeah, we do enjoy speaking about on behalf of dealers, and I think that's one of the beautiful things that we're able to enjoy over here is just by being agnostic. We don't bring a sponsor to the show. We're able to speak freely about what we think dealers need to talk about and want to hear about, and so it kind of helps us to be that in that place. And so in that regard, that's why part of the reason we invited you on the show to talk about the thing, just because we think dealers need to hear about this and understand it's a solvable thing as far as we can tell.
Just so you know, we you and I and Jim, we belong to certain Facebook groups, but this is syndicated. And so we typically, with each one of these episodes, after a few days, we're up to 300 watches. And so, we're able to get it out to even more people. And I know that a lot of the team, the board at NIADA listen when they get the opportunity. And so, they'll be able to see this too, but let's see what we can do to get, even if we're helping getting the right tools in the hands of the people that are lobbying on Capitol Hill, and just like, how do we get this? So
for sure. And if we could just take this, or any topic, anything that we want action on, and if we could just package it, put it in a nice little package and put a bow on it to where it doesn't take a whole lot of time to explain it, and it's something that captures your attention, and it's super simple, dumb it way down, we'll be successful. It'll just take some time. And I wasn't trying to call it the NIDA as far as just like, look, you're not doing anything about this. That wasn't at all what I wanted to say. I do care about those guys. I spent a good bit of time with Jeff recently at a table just talking, and I love Gordy to death. I think that whole board is full of people that are, those guys are volunteering a ton of time, and they really care, and they're invested, and I know they can do it, and I think this is something that's been going on for so long and has hurt so many people. It's almost like we as dealers have kind of just accepted that this is how it is on this topic. So this is it's just like the light bill, it's coming.
And it's one of the reasons why why in the industry we feel better about charging 28% interest or this, because there are losses that have to be covered. And so as we fix these losses, then we have the opportunity to be better to the customer.
In terms of
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's how the free market works, right? If there's enough, if the margin is there, then competition will lower prices. And ultimately this is about helping consumers at the long game. This will improve things for consumers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And for somebody who does what we do, Jack, as coaches, advisors, we're out there meeting dealers all the time. And one thing that you develop in that work is that the idea that this is the way we've always done it, that's never going to be a suitable answer for Michelle and me. This is the way it's always happened. This is the way it's always worked. Like, that's just not enough for us. So I think this is
I agree, Jim. I agree.
We got to go find out what.
But these small town dealers, it's amazing to me that there's so many dealers, man. There's so many dealers, and we all talk to, you and I and Michelle and the state associations and the national associations. We all talk to the same group of couple 400 or 500 folks, and there's thousands and thousands in every state. I think there's 7,000 registered dealers in Georgia.
Wow.
And we only talk to this many, and it's like, how many of them just go about their day and they don't feel like they have a voice, or don't know who to talk to, or just don't talk to anybody because they don't think anybody cares or listens. And I guess we're on their team, and so I guess we're the ones, for some reason, that are out raising the flag or whatever we're doing.
Yeah. He said, with the flag in the background. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. That's no mistake. That's back there on purpose. I'm a diehard American.
Excellent.
Well, and that means you're a patriot, and that means you care about your neighbors, and right. So you're working to solve problems. So good for you.
And
Absolutely.
I do appreciate you you're expressing that NIAD, they're out there fighting the fight, and they're out there.
Absolutely, they are.
That there's constantly something on the Hill that they're working to rectify, to adjust, to fix, and this is just a really great thing for like what's next on the docket, because it is low hanging fruit.
Yes, this is low hanging fruit.
Low hanging fruit. So we're grateful to NIADA, and I'm going to do a pitch really quick to all the people that listen to this over the course of the next few weeks or whatever. If you have not joined your state association, it is the best spent money you can give to for your business, because the state and part of that goes to the national. And so you get to help support having a voice on Capitol Hill. And that's the only way we can make these kind of changes is by getting that voice out there in the places that it matters.
And that's add your voice to the associations, through your state first, and help add the voice to the national, because the national's in the best position. They're forging relationships, on Capitol Hill and are in the best position. I think one of the things too, Jack, that you touched on is, I think what we can also help do is help articulate that issue. One of the things we can do as dealers out there is to help
make Jim, we need that so bad, buddy.
Yeah.
We need that so bad. I mean, I'm 43. I mean, how far behind am I on just making videos and technology and getting the word out there? I'm probably light years behind really what, and there's so many dealers now that I was the young dealer. I'm not the young dealer anymore. I'm just somewhere in the middle now. And the states and national, they don't get out there. They don't get their message out to dealers. I don't think they get it out effectively. And, because they're all our age. They're all 40, 50, 60. They don't know about this kind of stuff, and maybe that's slightly unfair, but I think there's some accuracy. There's some truth in that.
Okay.
Even my state association is not, they're not broadcasting to dealers and saying, hey, dealers, we accomplished this and this and this for you. It's only the people in the circle that really understand what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
So what you said about helping us articulate that's a big deal. That's a void that needs filling.
And I will tell you here that I'm okay with making time weekly. We can put a weekly meeting on the thing for 30 minutes, and you and I can work together to start to frame that out. And I'm happy to commit to do that with you.
And he's like, what? I got another meeting?
Yeah.
But
yeah. But we can make time to do that. I'm happy to make sure I understand from your perspective what it needs to look like, and we can help bring some stuff.
Well, and I just want you to know, I express our gratitude to you. I think we met not this last NIAD, but the NIAD before.
There's 5. Yeah.
You and I.
Yes.
And just really grateful for making that connection. You are very talented in articulating the things and not being afraid to say the stuff. So just the conversations that we've had, really, really impressed. Grateful that you are a dealer that has been out there leading a charge or being in leadership or trying to do the things, because you see that, it's you help and you can make it better for everybody else. And so thank you.
We can make it better, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You're welcome. I can say we didn't mention that Jack is just coming off a year as president with the Georgia Association. I know his dealers out there in Georgia are grateful for his time they spent in that role, and he'll continue to support the association, I'm sure. And so we're happy, by the way, to have John Weir on one day. We understand that he's the new president. And we look forward to
smart guy. He's a smart guy. I respect Mr. Weir.
Yeah, look forward to that. So all good. I think we can wrap up there.
Yeah, guys, thank y'all so much. I appreciate what you guys do for the business, and it's a big deal.